And I guess dreams really do come true.
Oh, that's sweet.
I guess this is the stuff that dreams are made of.
Uh-huh. What else you got? Sounds like someone didn't dream on.
Help me out here. Maybe the folks from Media Molecule can help us out.
It's a real dream to be here, Brad.
Thank you.
You're making my dreams come true.
Great, thank you for providing a net. John and Abby from Media Molecule, thank you for stopping by. I guess we're gonna kind of just do a sort of 2 weeks post-release early access check-in.
Yeah.
With dreams.
Yeah.
Now that you guys are out there, sort of?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, I mean, for us, it's very much live because it's out there. Community is using it, providing feedback, making lots of really amazing stuff.
Sure.
And we're supporting it like live service, and we've got like updates coming and all this stuff. So for us, it's very, very much out.
It is definitely out there.
An ongoing process.
Yeah, absolutely.
Development.
You can't dial it back from here. We can't just take it away.
No, we cannot take it away.
We're tired.
Yeah. So cool. Yeah. I mean, we just kind of want to hop in and see what's going on with dreams after a couple weeks out there. See some of your favorite creations, maybe get you guys to do a little sculpting.
Yeah, well, definitely. Oh, we can make a whole dream together.
Yeah. Just a kind of a riff session, kind of let's daydream a little bit.
That is one of our favorite things to do with dreams.
Cool.
So I guess we'll start in, by the way, we appreciate that you actually, started to move things around and decorate your home space.
My home.
To be fair, we have not in ours, and we got called out. We already did it because we did our stream, and it became obvious to us that we hadn't done the thing in our own game, so. I'm just going to shame us again until we fix it.
We're bad people.
You do it 100 times in pre-release, right? You can't.
This is the hub when you get into dreams. We have a community jam going at the moment, so we update these regularly. I think right now they're sort of on a 2-week schedule, and we invite people to make something based around a theme. It's some of the stuff that we've got. We can actually show some of the cool things that people made for our spring one. And then dream shaping, which we'll get into when we do some creation later, and dream surfing, where you find really finished content, like stuff that people are happy to basically publish as a complete package.
Yep.
Although if you go into dream shaping, you find all the stuff that's been most recently published, or people are kind of in progress working on, and that's my favorite.
It's exciting, isn't it? That's like the bleeding edge
we'll
of
get
creation.
there too.
That's a little more G-rated than what I thought you might say. So that's probably a good thing.
I just spent 20 minutes playing a game called Chicken Simulator last night, where there wasn't.
What? Can we look at it?
What? Let's.
Oh, sure,
I don't know Chicken Simulator.
There wasn't much to do. You were mostly running around as a chicken, but it was a work in progress.
Let's see it.
Mostly what chickens do, right? It's a pretty thorough simulator.
Yeah, that seems pretty accurate. There it is.
I mean, there's so many
Chicken
things.
Simulator.
We've never seen this before. There's so many things that are coming out.
But yeah, this was fun because there's nothing really to do here, but I was just having such a good time running around and looking at this world.
Yes, this is amazing.
Chicken.
There's a bunch of different animals you can find.
What?
Yeah, oh yeah. I'm glad we're starting with my favorite dreams.
There's the farmer.
And you see, this is what I love about dreams, is where else are you going to get this kind of content? Where else are you going to get just this insanity? I love it.
These guys are really beating Untitled Goose Game to market.
Each of those pens has different animals.
Oh,
no way.
In here?
What?
That is terrifying.
Run away.
There's the chicken one. What's over here?
That is a fast chicken.
It is a very fast chicken. I
really appreciate how snappy it is to load into these, because I could just browse these games, and within a couple seconds I'm in.
It was really important for us that everything could load really, really fast. And in fact, if you string levels together, it streams in the next level if it knows where it's going, and loads in instantaneously. And when you load a level from scratch, because it doesn't know you were going to go in there, it only takes a couple of seconds.
Did you read the description here? One's a rabbit that's seen too much. The other's a chicken with it all to prove. Stranded, they must work together to save Easter with only these words to guide them. Spring forward, never fall back.
We're gonna have to see what that's about.
Trico has a future ahead of them as a screenwriter. Oh my God, they're shooting Easter eggs.
So this is part of we did the spring challenge before this. So this is clearly
Private Clucker.
Oh, it's a Banjo-Kazooie thing.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, that is a good.
And then you just collect all the. Wow, this
blows my mind. This is live and uncensored. We've never seen this. We don't know what. I mean, this could all go terribly wrong. So this is just.
We're just looking at the chicken tag,
Who knew it? It'd be so.
But that is one of my favorite things. Is just choose one theme and.
Yeah, choose a word, and you will probably. And this is only after 2 weeks, so. Give it a few months, and any word you put in, you will find
he's wearing glasses.
an experienced He's wearing glasses. It's so cute.
This one's got a good look to it.
Yeah, I like the textured.
That's so
style.
cute.
Actually, one of the kind of nuts and bolts questions I did have was like how you guys are handling moderation.
Really adorable.
So
Since you can essentially kind of sculpt and craft
All right, no
any
more chickens.
any sort of object and imagery that you want.
well, I guess we've got a really good moderation team at Sony who have a lot of experience on things like Little Big Planet.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you can report stuff in Dreams, you know, all the sort of usual channels you would expect to be able to sort of report and grief for anything that you feel is offensive or not appropriate. So it's all there, and you know.
Yeah, the safety and moderation teams are great.
So it's pretty much all people powered, not any kind of automation involved.
No,
No,
it's
yeah,
not
it's- yeah,
automated.
Okay. Wow, this.
Oh, so this is Death Stranding.
So Disarmed is like not just like a very prolific creator, but I really appreciate he likes to push the sort of visual side of the engine quite a lot.
Yeah,
You see
this
it in
looks
some of his other
amazing.
creations.
And this guy's totally just community, not affiliated.
No,
with
no.
you
So
guys?
this guy is a music teacher in New York, is
Oh,
what I
wow.
know about him. But
Okay.
he has made loads of stuff, and this is like one of the many things he has
Super
made.
beautiful.
And he loves
Yeah,
just trying to
if you-
push the Dreams engine. You can see he's level 100 already.
Oh, this was a new.
This is him also.
I haven't played this yet. I just saw this on Twitter. We follow the Maiden Dreams hashtag when we're traveling. And
He's even
we
put
just,
his,
and
little plug there for Disarmed. So he's made a music player which responds based on the music, and it's just a song that plays through. So, you know, it's an experience. Someone's made a music player in Dreams.
Yeah.
Great.
Cool. I mean, you can. It's just people do all sorts of different stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's nuts. I mean, anything. When people ask us, they go, "Oh, can you do this in Dreams?" And the answer isn't yes or no. It's just, how do you do it? You know,
Sure.
it's just the sort of finding the way the tools work. Yeah, yeah.
Right. How many hours are you prepared to make it a reality?
Right, exactly.
And it's cool to see that there are people out there. Do you have any sense of kind of the ratio of creators versus just people playing the game?
Consumers.
Right now?
I mean, the hope for us is that always that like people will, even if they just see themselves as a player, that we can lure them over to the creation side of things. I mean, that's very much my experience with it, where Slayer scrolls. Here, I'll let you drive for a bit, which is.
Of course.
Oh yeah, people have made like totally their own intros
Yeah,
and their
your
own, you know,
game
like,
company.
yeah, of course. But you know, I think there will always be more people. Well, right now we're doing a creator early access, so there's lots of people who are very focused on creation and creating things. I think when it's expanded to a much broader audience, like there'll be a lot more players. Like they always more heavily index on the play side, but. I definitely started on the side of like, I'm really a player, like I want to check out all the cool stuff people have been making, and I just find it really soothing to make things, and like I'll like browse quickly and then I like hop straight into creating stuff now. I hope other people kind of find that pathway too, because using the tools, you know, there's a bit of a learning curve like there is with anything, but like we'll show when we create something later, there's a lot of stuff that's just meant to give you the power to create, even if you've never used a 3D creation.
Right. And it seems that between like, you know, creating levels, creating assets, the music stuff, that there's kind of something in there that if you want to just like get your toes wet and like you're into the music stuff, you could just make music.
Absolutely. And everything that you learn when you do that plays into like other skills that you'll learn, you know, in other areas. So like there's skills that you learn when doing animation or sculpture that translate into, you know, music and like painting. So we try to make sure that you're like kind of always learning something that's helpful in every area when you're doing it. Are you showing the hovercraft?
Yeah, I really like this
is really
one.
cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It definitely evokes.
The variety of things that people make is incredible.
The variety is unbelievable. From just every genre you can think of is essentially already in the game after 2 weeks.
Wow.
So.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you thought, oh, for sure, like day one, somebody's gonna make one of these, or like right out the gate, somebody's gonna make this, and nope, it's gonna completely.
I think it's more the opposite. There's things that we didn't know.
Exactly.
There's things that like we just didn't think about people making that then they made, and we were like, oh right, of course you could make this. I think that's more of the, because you kind of assume like people are going to make like platformers or
Mario
FPS.
1-1, the
Mario,
first
sure.
go-to level creator. Is it in there?
Yeah, I mean, lots of people learn to create by copying. That's like,
Sure.
you know, and so it's not unexpected, but the hope is that like once people sort of get past that they start to branch out and make their own things. And John made this.
Oh my God, this is...
And it's got like a full AI system, and John used to be a builder, so he's like the level of detail and like the jointing and like the fireplace that's in the background, it's ridiculous.
Wait, are any of these pre-made assets, or did you...
No, I made
Wow.
this was like 3 evenings work, so like 8 hours. But I used to be a builder, as Abby said. In fact, I started as a stonemason, and this is a replica from like my memory of the first thing I worked on, which was restoring that fireplace over there.
This looks really nice.
Very soothing.
Very soothing. It's just cool that you can make.
And John had a community member make the music for it.
Oh yeah, J plus Blee made the music because I'm not musically talented in any way, and so I was like, I need someone to make some smooth jazz for me. And J plus B is like, I'm on it. And like an hour later, he goes, I've made 2 songs for you that randomize. And I was just like, great. So I did promise him, which I haven't done yet, is I was going to put a gramophone in here that was just playing it. So I need to do that.
Did the physics or the mechanics of playing the game here require any work, or is that all just kind of like built in? I mean, you just place the objects and they just sort of obey the...
Yeah, so there's physics, so you could just put physics in,
right.
But then to do all the like cues, so you can see how it like lifts up there and things like that, I've had to put that in using the in-game logic tools, and you can do as much as you want, really, or as little as you want, depending on what sort of experience you're trying to create.
You put the imp on the chalk for the thing, like your attention to detail is really exquisite.
Thanks, Abby.
Yeah, I was going to say, going through the tutorials, it was all fairly, it's a very nice kind of slope into like building and kind of hold your hand for a while, but then the first time they started getting into like the circuit boards, and I opened up that menu with all the different types of circuits you could put in there, it was kind of the first moment of, okay, I can see how everything can be made in this game, sort of. It seems
the visual programming language that you sort of, and like I said, like there's sort of an easy way into everything in Dreams, and you know, certainly starting out with like trigger sensors and stuff like that is sort of like the baby steps into logic. This was made by a community member. These have obviously the Tearaway characters, and they're so cute.
Wow.
And it hit me, you know, having worked on Tearaway, when this came, it just hit me in the feels, because like I'm so familiar with these characters. As soon as they did it, I was
And
just
she made these so fast. She put a poll out on Twitter, like which Tearaway characters should I make, and then like they were just there, like immediately. It was really cool.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
She makes really incredible characters for people to use. I love that like people have specialized, and then you can see their stuff used. Oh, show Frederick Fox.
Oh yes. This
is so everything that in Dreams has a genealogy. So if you make something, and I use it in my level, you're still credited. So we're making sure that everybody always has, you know, credit where credit's due. So this person made this adorable character, and it's been used in tons of different creations throughout the Dreamiverse. And she's actually then gone and made a collection. There's this idea of curation and you know, collecting different assets or games together of all the places that it's been used. So she's got now the Frederick the Fox showcase, and this is like everywhere, and then people have made remixes of her character, like the
And so she's gone on this journey where she's made this cool character, and now it has a life outside of what she intended for it, but she's fully embraced that and just made this huge collection of all of Frederick the Fox's journeys throughout the Dreamiverse. And it all comes back to her, all the sort of credit, you can see where it's been used. So if we have a look at Frederick the Fox, oops, that's just diving into it. And see, I've gone into edit mode there, so I could have edited it. But you can have a look here where Frederick's been used. So put a little description there, all the photos, the comments, the activity on it. We can look at versions and release that she's done on it, but the genealogy is really cool because it's got what's inside of it, 2 things, but then it's been used in, and then here's all the things it's been used in, and the amount of times it's been remixed. So it's cool, you can sort of follow the journey of something you've done that you've put out there for other people to use.
As soon as people start shipping Frederick Fox, that's when you know that you've really made it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really exciting though when someone uses, and it's really encouraging too when you're starting out, because you can make something that's really small. Like we have people who just make props. I had a conversation with a user in the beta going like, you really need to surface, because we do these streams each week, you know, some more of like the prop making. Like there's this amazing eraser in the game, and like it has like, you know, you know, people should be, you know, rewarding this person.
Evangelize.
And we went and we showed it. It's like it's perfect. Like it looks like a, you know, perfect eraser. And then There's people who just make, there was like someone who just made like lots of coat hangers, and like you can see them and like used in lots of different people's levels, because of course if you're making an office scene, you want that like, hanging up, and those people are super important to helping everybody else.
We definitely have like the person in Dreams who just makes shoes, just fashionable shoes, and that will all, because we've noticed there's so many people who have become specialists straight away, and they're just like, I'm not really good at the music, but I'm really good at sculpting trees, and they've just made 150 trees, and then other people have been making collections, and like I was just showing, and put them into.
Show Yvonne in the basement.
Okay.
It'd be a blast then too to like, be the tree guy and then start browsing people's stuff and seeing your tree show up in people's games.
Of course.
Is it Y, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Yvonne with a Y. I don't know.
There it is.
Yeah. This is one of my favorite things, and this was made in the beta. This is so clever because they made this adorable little character and then made a whole game for it, and just the concept I love.
Monsters in the basement, of course.
So you have to fight the monsters, but also like mark everything that needs to be fixed by the homeowner.
You need to repair first.
Yeah, of course.
The most important.
Monsters, but
Yeah.
So Yvonne goes into the basement.
And then she fights monsters with her for sale sign. And this is a full, this is probably like a 20 or so minute game. There's a boss battle at the end. Like, it's really fully realized. And so you got to mark that leak, man.
And you do it, and do it.
The goth.
Like, come fix this, bunny. Just like, people are so clever, and this is one of those ones that really just struck me, because it's like the concept behind it is so lovely. And the music is another community member.
It's been making the rounds everywhere.
Yeah, and they also made a game, I think the creators of the song made a game where your character jumps in time with the beat of the music. So rather than like the level, having to time it, so you have to time your jumps across everything. It's very cool. People so creative.
They are so creative as well. And there's a team actually who've got them.
Always smoothie time.
They've got themselves together. They've made a whole team of about 10 people. Mad GFX, they've called themselves, and then trying to make a whole game in Dreams, And there's like 3 artists and 2 Dreams programmers, and a producer. They've got themselves together and assembled themselves, and it's just like
because you can work on things privately and add collaborators, so you can really work on something behind the scenes and then publish it later.
Okay, so yeah,
Fred Freezer, of course.
I need one of those for the house I was working on. That one's perfect. I'll take it. I like going shopping through the Dreamiverse.
Yeah, shopping through the Dreamiverse is the best thing. I mean, anything you type,
Amazon
you'll find.
reviews.
Really surreal IKEA.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the most surreal IKEA.
Oh, somebody should make an IKEA.
Yeah, totally.
I probably has.
It's got to start with the meatballs, though.
It's just great, and you're like, ooh.
That's your starting point.
That's your starting.
That's why. You go, you fill up. You're gonna need the energy. You're seeing all those beds,
of course,
cabinets.
So have you guys mapped out, I don't know how much you were ready to talk about it, like what the full release is going to look like in terms of the maybe more, I don't know if it's going to be a traditional story mode or some sort of,
we're working on a longer game. We're working on a longer game experience, but we're also working on a lot of smaller game experiences. One of the things that we found to be really useful, and you can see some of these in early access already. We have these little levels that we've made that help people, that you can tear apart, and you can see the logic and how we build things. And we also have templates that are coming in early access. We have some already in early access. We have more on the way. Showing you how to do a platformer, an FPS game, a marble rolling game. We also have collections of assets that all really work together. So we'll keep adding those to the Dreamiverse, and they're really good starting points if you're like, oh God, what do I do? And you just want to assemble a level with a pre-made set. And people could actually make their own. So this creator could actually package up everything in here and make a collection of all these different assets, so someone could do their own version of this level.
Yeah, this looks fantastic.
This is really amazing. And what's so smart about this one is this creator has optimized everything in such a way, because when you're creating in the Dreamiverse, if you have a shape, copying that shape, like the more unique shapes you have, the more your thermometer fills up. And so when you want to do something like this, that's this scale, they've done really just clever use of all the assets in this. I mean, the same way that like game developers do.
Right. Really efficient ways to reuse
stuff. They've done a really smart
It's really cool
job
seeing
of it.
people learn that as well, and they're going through that process of they've never had any game making experience.
I went through that process Saturday.
And they come in and they're like, oh, why is my thermometer full up? You know, but our community is so helpful that every forum you go to where they're talking about dreams, someone's like, I don't get why this doesn't work. And about 10 people go, oh, you do this and you do this and you do this, and they're like all learning together, and it's like
It's heartwarming.
So would you say as a full release shipping product, is the emphasis still going to be more on creation than, because like with Little Big Planet, the balance was like up front it's a platformer and then you kind of engage with the creation stuff afterward, but is this seems like it's more
it's pretty 50-50 in a way.
Forward.
I mean, it is creation forward, but also like we spend hours just going, like people make so many things, there's so many new things coming all the time. You never run out of like things to explore, things to play, or things to do. So like, it's a tough question to answer because like, yes, we want to encourage people to be creative and to make things and to share. This game's so impressive. But at the same time, like even now as a player, you would just never be bored. There's always something, and it's only going to continue to get like more impressive, more complex. And just new experiences as people learn new skills, as people, explore new genres. So yeah, I think on our side, like the focus is the big part of Dreams is that accessible tools package, but at the same time, like it's a content, it's a platform as well.
Sure.
So yeah, it's
like,
everything.
Yeah, it's like most people who use YouTube are not people who upload things to YouTube, they're just consumers, and like we feel it'd be the same in this. Like most people who use Dreams will be doing what we're doing now and going through the levels and having a lot of fun, and they may dabble a little bit in making stuff, but then the people who do create are going to be creating so much content that you're just never going to not have something to do, really.
And it's liberating for us as well, because like we make tons of content. A lot of the games, we have this concept of the MM Arcade, and it's all these sort of shorter experiences that are made by people on the team, and a lot of them in their spare time or when we do jams at the office. And it's let everybody on the Media Molecule side be really expressive and to make all the little things that they want to make. And so we can keep continuing to make cool content and just servicing it to people and like making stuff based on community stuff, and it's kind of endless in possibility.
And people are starting to do things that we didn't expect. I mean, what's weird is we're expecting the unexpected. We know that there's going to be so many things that people are going to do that we're like, we never thought of that. Like yesterday we found that someone made something in Dreams, built a green screen in Dreams just by putting a green block behind.
It's just a block, and it's green, like duh, of course you can do that.
So they can pull their thing out and then use it elsewhere, and I'm just like, that's so cool, It's...
and we've been using it for a live performance. One of our audio engineers is doing like generative music at like a rave in Dreams, and also does like VJ stuff. I mean, you might as well show them the Pomeranians like while we're here.
Of course, yes.
So we did this 12-hour live stream when we launched Early Access, and one of the things that we did in it was we made a Pomeranian for our producer, Constantin, who loves Pomeranians, and then we did a little bit of the performance that Bogdan, our audio engineer, is going to be doing, and then combined it, because he does these, like, he wants to do this whole VJ bit in the background of this live music performance. And we made the Pomeranians into a thing. So Pom Rave there, we'll show you in a second, but it started down here.
It started with this one. So I made a Pomeranian in about 5 minutes because we were just like doing some filler stuff.
We'll make you like a 5-minute animal later.
I was going to say, if that's a 5-minute Pomeranian, then I need to see your sculpting skills in action.
So then Mark, our creative director, came in and made a Pomeranian out of Pomeranians.
Oh no.
Which is slightly disturbing. Yeah. They made Mount Pomeranian, obviously, and then tried to change them all up a little bit so they were different.
Oh yeah, I can tell which president each one of them is.
Yes.
So we published the Pomeranian live, and then now it's a bit like the fox has now gone on to do its thing. So we've got like just.
I want to see Hungry.
This one.
But you want to see Boop the Snoots.
Yeah, this one's amazing. It's just like. You've got to boot their snoots fast.
Oh, it's color coded for the buttons.
It's color coded, yeah.
That's very clever.
And the sounds, it's just amazing.
And then the hungry pomos and oh god.
Pomeranian.
And that was we recorded that voice.
That's our community manager.
The AI is really good on this, so it's really hard to win.
Oh
Yeah.
I love the way they're booping their snoots together. So. But it's just amazing how the Pomeranian, just a 5-minute Pomeranian, and that's the sort of thing that I really hope creators get out of this, with the sharing, that they make something and think, it's kind of, but then it goes on its own little creative
Journey.
Inspires
adventure.
them to take
And then the
direction
Pom
that
Rave is
original.
the-
Pomrave, and the Pomped.
Oh no.
Wow.
Oh no, but oh yes.
I think about Undertale thing.
Yeah. I'm here for just the weirdest, strangest, But I love that because there's not really a risk to just doing something that's silly or fun or ridiculous. You can just do it and who cares? Someone might love it.
This belongs
like
in
me.
a subsection called Fever Dreams.
Yeah, exactly. And using dreams as a sort of performance tool, and performance is a word that we've really, throughout the whole process of making dreams, is something we were really sort of clung on to, that while making stuff, which we'll show later, I wanted it to be a performance.
We could just show that now.
We
could just start making
we can
something.
Sure, I would like to see.
But a literal performance, we had 2 of our audio designers go out and do a live gig using dreams. So we had a VJ, one was doing the sort of VJ part of it, and one was making live music as a live DJ experience, but using dreams.
Yeah, and that's just sort of one angle of it. I think we're just kind of finding other ways to do live game development as performance. So, making things live alongside the community, or the stuff John's talking about, actual music performance, or there's a whole bunch of different possibilities for using dreams in creative ways. I think streaming is a big one where it's whoa, as a streamer, you could make a game along with your audience, or you could give them a theme or something to create, and they could all create that, and then you could remix it into something or use it in a creation. It's really participatory. And so John's going to start in the sculpt tool.
What should we make?
What do you give it so our favorite thing to do with John is to give him an animal we don't think he's ever heard of.
Interesting.
And then another animal we don't think he's ever heard of, and make them into one
with
animal.
no reference
What about
photos.
a capybara and...
Oh, capybara.
See, this is good because I don't know what it looks like.
Yes.
Brad, here's another animal.
An echidna.
Oh my days. Okay, so I kind of, an echidna, does that look a bit like a spiky hedgehog?
I don't actually.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah,
echidna?
That's not too far off.
And then a capybara, is that
It's a very large
small
rodent.
It's like a
rodent? Okay.
very large.
Oh, it's one of those things. It almost looks like a.
It's friends with all the other animals.
Yeah, it's big and it just sits there, and the animal sits.
It's basically a dog-sized guinea pig.
Okay, that's.
Okay, so a dog-sized guinea pig and a spiky hedgehog
Okay.
together.
Are we
Let's do
placing
it.
a time limit on this? Is this
Why not?
5 minutes?
Yeah, 5 minutes. Let's do it.
Dan, can we get a 5-minute timer?
Okay, here we go. So I'm gonna use our tools here to we've got all kinds of guides and stuff. So I've turned the mirror on so I can do some.
Yeah. And we are going to end up making a whole level for this thing. And Addie, so if you have some other ideas or things brewing while we do this, go for it. But
Yeah.
John is quite fast with the sculpt tools. And the move controllers are cool because there's a whole bunch of shortcuts built into them. So you can, you'll see him tapping them together or moving them in certain ways. And they're meant to be performative.
I will say,
Absolutely,
even I haven't touched the move controllers yet, but even with the just the regular DualShock, a lot of it feels so intuitive with L1 kind of being your shift. And
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot of it, it's very easy to pick up.
Yeah, I mean,
Give it some floof.
I think it's everybody at the studio, all the different departments have had to, really input on the tools and iterate them because they are ultimately the ones who are trying to make, content with them.
Right.
So they have to be able to do everything
If
that
they
we
can't
expect.
do it, what do they expect?
Yeah, but they
Exactly
also
that.
have to do everything that a professional game developer would expect to be able to do with with creative tools. So, on one hand, you have the really amateur, we need people who have never used anything before to be able to use them, but also the professionals. We really like doing anime eyes, so we do them
You're in
for
the right
everything.
place.
We're in the right place
Good.
for anime eyes.
I'm not even sure which of those animals you're envisioning with the head sculpt right now, but
That's kind of capybara-esque.
Ish, yeah, it's
it's
gonna
got a
get
very
better.
boxy face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I may or may not follow a couple capybara accounts on Instagram.
I feel you. Yeah. I mean, they
love like hot springs, so maybe we can incorporate that in some way.
Do they?
Yeah.
Do they really?
Wow, that's...
So it's alive!
This is really taking shape.
Yeah, eyes really help for whatever reason.
Yeah, who
you know?
knew? And it's got like, you're right, it's got like more of a...
You know what they say, the eyes are the window to the capybara.
Capybara soul, yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
We try to do animal facts when we do these, but they are, I would say, largely incorrect and misinformative. Disinformation. I don't know where.
Something like that.
That was much more. I was with you on the shape.
And I'm using this to sort of cut out. And then
you've gone ambitious for this. You're going to make it.
I don't know if that's what their mouth looks
like. What do capybara ears look like, capybara expert?
I'm guessing little triangles.
I think they're little.
Okay.
Rose petals, kind of.
Kind of like little ears.
Let's do that. Ears are going to help.
This is horrifying so far.
It's cute with the little ears. It's going.
Oh yeah. This is adorable.
I don't know if it's capybara-esque, but it's definitely something.
I can't tell if it's the angle or not, but I like that he looks a little slack-jawed. I feel like it adds a little bit of character.
Kind of an underbite going on.
Expensive.
Of course. Oh, and it's like crossed with an echidna, right? So.
Oh yeah. Here's where we can incorporate.
We think maybe like a spiky.
Is that Knuckles? Is Knuckles the echidna?
Yeah, Knuckles is an echidna. Yeah.
Give it an appropriate color then.
Sonic is infecting everything we do.
Yeah, timely.
And let's add a bit of looseness.
I mean, I would rather see this guy in a movie than what we've seen so far from Fox.
Not finished yet, so you know.
Yeah, you don't know what you'll be wishing for by the end of this.
And
then
then
spiky
winter coat.
We're gonna let's try and brush it in a direction. So we've got
you're combing your echidna.
We can just stroke it down so it's more spiky that way. We're getting there. We're getting somewhere, right?
It's adorable.
Whatever this creature is, I already like it. I'm not too worried that like.
I'm less sure on the legs, so I'm going to do sort of like one of the sort of inverse.
I think they're mostly body.
Mostly
I
body,
think they are mostly
legs
body,
are an afterthought anyway.
Envision a giant baked potato with tiny legs coming out.
I think they are like hooved.
They do have hooves.
Oh, not anymore. They haven't.
Now they've got toes. Maybe echidnas have toes. Who knows?
Oh yeah, he certainly exists.
He does. This is it. Oh, this is. See, this is what happens when you don't give me reference photos.
I know, this is why I've purposely not given you reference photos.
It's just, and then we can animate. I kind of know.
Don't forget the spines.
Oh yeah, the spines, of course. Okay, let's do that. There's a cool way you can do. I'll show you.
Oh, I know what you're going to do.
You know what I'm going to do, don't you?
Yes.
So let's get like in fact.
John and I do a lot of demos together, so inevitably end up like live casting John's performance, which is like a weird live casting game development, whole new genre.
Right.
But this little like plinth tool is amazing because you can just easily make spikes. Then we have this sort of like iterative cloning tool and that John's going to use, and so he can like very quickly.
So I can clone out a load like this, and then we can just.
Once you really start learning the shortcuts and dreams, you can do.
Oh yeah.
This is
Awesome.
Comfortable.
Yeah, I know. It was so cute, and now it's
terrifying.
A little bit of Cronenberg in here.
Yeah. Did you think you were getting a new mascot for giantbomb today? Because you are.
Tear down. And get.
I was going to say actually the competition for like unofficial Dreams mascot must be pretty fierce, right? Like Frederick Fox and the real estate chicken.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, and then we can group this all together into one group, and I'm going to do a bit of animation. So. We have animation tools for doing all kinds of stuff, and one of the easiest ways is to use the action recorder, and everything I do from this point will be recorded. So in this case, I'm going to be like, as if it's eating.
The sound effects really help.
Oh, wait. No. We're going to add sound effects, but you could do it while you're doing that.
Let's do that now.
Sure.
So if I click this mic on, it's now going to record my voice as I do it. So silence, everyone, please. Perfect. Okay, let's do it. Oh no, did it not do it? Did it not do it?
I can't
I did not do it. Wait, did I turn it on? Did I turn it on, John? I did turn it on. Damn, that did not work for some reason.
Is it the mic and the camera?
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Sometimes live performances, things go wrong. We'll add the sounds later, right, Abby?
Okay, yeah,
So
I'm fine with that.
Let's do the mouth chomping one more time. No sound effects this time.
You should have just done it just for fun.
Yeah, I should have. I feel bad.
You may want to turn that microphone off though, because in case that does start, we're just going to pick up like everything.
Yeah. Oh no, it's fine. It's because it's not there. It's good. It's good. We're good. We're all good. And then I'm going to animate the whole thing. Turn the mic off, like you say, just in case. And then we can animate the whole thing, just like.
Oh no.
The offset jaws.
I mean, I feel this is what you guys asked for, you know.
Yeah,
somehow,
no, it's exactly a cross between an
somehow.
echidna and a capybara.
But like, even if you have no animation experience, you can move something with a controller and make, you know, your own animations. And I think that's like the very entry level animation in Dreams, because you can go very complex with animation, but like anybody can do that.
And then I've just dived into the Dreamverse to find some grass, you know, type that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like you made a choice there, and I thought we were choosing what you do.
Oh, okay. We just it's true.
Where does the capybara live?
Yeah, it's true. We can change that up.
You know,
Some grasslands.
yeah, I can picture a grass. I mean, is there like a pool asset we can maybe throw?
Yeah,
in?
yeah,
Because they
we
do
can
a
add
lot-
a
Let's just have a look at water. There we go. Surprisingly, immediately water. So which one we got? Super realistic water. I mean, I have to go for that. Oh no! Yes, I would like to use a newer version of this creation.
Whoa!
Whoa, that is.
It's like I could take a swim in it.
Let's press play and see if they've animated it.
They have.
Animated. Look at that. That's perfect. This person is on point with their creation, and then we can just go around like that to make it into a pool.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Got some rocks in there. And you know, we could have made that pool from scratch ourselves, like how we made the capybara, but didn't have to.
Very excited about this pool.
Yeah.
And then we can change the time of day really, really quickly. So we can put one of our gadgets out and we can move the sun around.
So you're literally just moving the sun around, and that gives you a day. And if John was, and our tools all stack too, so like, if John was to go back and he was use the animation, the action recorder that he used, and he would move the sun around, it would show the sun moving and it would capture that animation, and like you would have the sun moving through your sky, like he's doing now.
Oh, wow.
He's just spending the whole day there, chilling out by the pool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's that slow. This is like time lapse of an incredibly slow capybara.
There's a little bit of sloth in there, too.
Yeah.
It turns out.
Everyone loves sloths.
There's some really good sloths
Some
in the
really good
Dreamverse,
surprising.
yeah.
There's some
You
amazing
should give him a
ones.
sloth friend.
Let's do it.
See if we can just find a...
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go.
This is great because we'll pass this on to the community to.
Oh yeah, we can publish this at the end, so you know.
Oh yeah, we'd be happy to, and then people can remix this
Yeah.
and use stuff from it and make you some
Where did that go?
levels
We haven't come
for
up with
your...
a name for it, which I've been.
Okay. Sloth.
Oh.
It's a party sloth.
Yeah.
And I noticed there was a T-Rex then, which I kind of feel like we should just put a T-Rex in as well, because
Well, like a tiny T-Rex.
yeah, like
He's very
Oh, a
self-conscious.
tiny T-Rex. I love it. Also, that T-Rex has like a fully articulated, movable character, and it's pretty awesome.
hiding in the grass, you know.
Oh.
And we can press play, and we can actually go into play mode. So if I swap over to the DualShock now, I just turned itself off. Just turn it back on. There we go. And jump into play mode. We can control the sloth if we want to and run around as the sloth. We can then go into the T-Rex. It can be a T-Rex. So, you know, that's the really cool thing I find about Dreams is the sort of serendipity of you're making something and then you end up taking so many left and right turns. You go somewhere where you had no idea you were going to go before, which is like really creatively liberating. You don't get trapped in a path because the tools are so easy and fast to iterate that you don't become precious over what you've made. So everything's very throwaway in a way. You're just like, actually, I don't want this. Take a different turn, and you know.
Well, then we have
the
people that
accidents.
spend like time making super detailed stuff. And,
Yeah, I was going to ask,
yeah.
actually, kind of speaking of being precious about stuff, like if you make something and you're like, you just have an especially like high level of reverence for it, can you like make it shareable but not editable?
Yeah,
Can you like
so
lock it for editing? and
whenever
stuff?
you
Absolutely.
publish something in the Dreamverse, you can save it like locally, so just on your system, it's
Right.
private to you. And John will show you.
What are we
show
going to call
now.
it?
Gosh.
Capachidna?
Capachidna, yeah.
Capachidna?
Capachidna.
The C.
Oh, it's a C.
CAPY.
And so then you can also, it's fine. It's with one P, but I'm just, you know, it's fine.
He's his own thing.
It's his own thing now. I understand.
I feel like I've let you down, Abby.
No, it's okay.
You're just dreaming.
So you can save it privately so that somebody, but add a collaborator so other people can work with you. You can also save it and release it as public, which is John is highlighting now. And when you do that, you have the option of making it playable or remixable. So playable, people can just go in and they can play it, and remixable means that they can go in and they can change it. So, and you can, yes, like John's doing, add your versions. Version notes, all your like dev.
We're committing. This is full release. This
we're gonna let people remix this.
We'll fix it in the patch. Don't worry.
1.1 coming.
And then we'll go
soon.
back in and we'll add some music.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if you have any ideas for like some simple like Logic tool applications.
Absolutely.
Let's do it. Should we do Logic or music first?
You know what? Let's do Logic first, because then we can add sound effects and
great idea.
Music.
Okay, so let's think. What can we do?
Yeah. What do you want to happen here?
Trying to think what would be fun to happen. Let's make like a bit of a cutscene out of it, because that uses Logic, right?
Yeah.
And okay, so
maybe they get surprised by the T-Rex in the grass or something.
I'm going to get a timeline out, which we can open up and has a playhead. So if I press play, you can see the playhead going along. And we can use that for music later, but we're going to use it for some Logic events, in this case, some cameras. So I can dive into my tools and grab a camera out. And I can position the camera by looking through it. So my first camera, I want to be over here, kind of like staring.
That extreme capybara close-up, Capkidna close-up.
Right in there. And you can say, let's add some black bars to it, so when we look through it, it's,
very dramatic now,
cinematic, yeah.
And what we want to do is that to happen right at the beginning. So I can grab the camera and stick it on here, and you notice it stays. And now this up here just becomes how long that camera is active for. So we're gonna, that's sort of active enough. And then I'm gonna make it a cut. So there's all kinds of different options in here for like depth of field and things like that. So in fact, if I tweak it and dive into it and put the depth of field on, you can see we can get a nice bit of depth of field. Pull that focus.
And the nice thing to do is like everything happens on screen when you do it, so like you see the changes that you're making. I found that like very useful coming in without any sort of background in 3D creation, just because like everything I'm doing in the tweak menus.
Right,
like,
you don't have to wait for something
I'm
to
right
render.
there.
And
Intuitive motion type stuff.
Yeah. It really helps you just figure out, and like John said, like sometimes you just end up with happy accidents.
Or not so happy accidents, just,
There's no such thing. You know me, I live for like the weirdest stuff in the Dreamiverse.
And one over here.
Yeah, maybe before we can go, we can take a peek at.
I have some things. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we can look at some new ones. We have some like favorite like.
It's just making cutscenes like that is so easy. And the thing is, on here as well, we can add anything on here and it gets powered on. So imagine some camera shake. Let's put the camera shake on the T-Rex. And you can preview what that's going to be like. So we want it to be like mad shaking, as if it's like T-Rex, So again, let's preview that. So we've got the camera bar, and it's like T-Rex. And in fact, let's add some writing on there, just so it's definitely it's T-Rex. So we can get a text displayer. We'll stick that on there in the exact same spot.
The text displayer was one of the sort of biggest surprises to us in beta, actually, because people found a whole host of things that you can use it for that is not actually displaying text. John has used it to put like God rays in levels.
Oh, wow.
Somebody actually built an entire level using the text gadget, and it's super funny. Was that Slurms Mackenzie?
Yeah,
yeah. I look for that one. We can show that before we go too, because it's just really funny and clever. But that's one of those, like in any game you work on, somebody's always going to find a way to use something in the game for potentially not how it was intended. And in Dreams, like people have figured out all sorts of really cool stuff.
Yeah,
that was the first one that really stood out to us.
Right, because like even with like Little Big Planet, 6 months after release, people were making like geometry wars and stuff. So like this feels like it would be that to the nth degree.
Exactly.
With level of tools in here.
Just
Yeah.
How did you do the God rays with the text tool?
Oh, okay. So the text tool is highly abusable in a good way. So in this
it's a feature,
case,
not a bug.
Yeah, exactly. So in this particular case, you come out and it's sort of default like this, and all I did was put a space into it so it knows that it's going to live. Got rid of the background and the shadow off it, so we've got a shape that's a bit like this. Added auto fit, and then you can just stretch the shape however you want. So we've got a long shape like this, and then we can add, sort of change the opacity and how much it blends like this, and essentially stuck that in the sky, because you can either have it stuck to the camera like now, or you can say be in the world, and then you can just move it around and put it where you want. So something like that.
Very atmospheric.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people use it for making glass and water and like all sorts of really clever stuff. So we were sort of like, oh, right, when people did it. Like, I get it. Like,
yeah.
Wow.
God rays, you know.
Well, and this kind of thing, like with dreams, that I think is really fun, is that there are so many different ways to do lots of different things, and you know, everybody has a different way that they make something or get there. It's like really flexible in that capacity.
Especially a tree, everyone has their own way of doing a tree. It really is the one to go to just, you know,
go-to tree.
Yeah. See if there's any other trees.
There's lots of other trees.
There's like
spoiler. There's so many trees.
Like a gazillion trees. Just to make those god rays make sense, you see.
Right, of course. Otherwise, my level of disbelief in this was compromised.
The artistic vision of the tiny T-Rex.
Yeah, T-Rex. And the sun moving around as well, you know. I feel like we should add some sound effects, Abby, so I'm going to pass it over to you for some
good, yay.
ambience. It's your turn to suffer now.
Okay.
It's truly a collaborative effort.
Absolutely.
It is, yeah. So I'm going to go into our sound tool. And we have a whole sound library in Dream. So if I don't want to make anything from scratch, you don't have to. So if I go into our sound effects library and go into ambiences, nature.
And there's so many. We've added countless thousands of sounds and effects.
Let's do forest leafy. And so I can just throw this out in the world, and now we'll have like a basic ambience in the level.
Oh, we should totally get some water as well.
It's just hard to hear when the sound is down on the television from here. But we should get some water sounds. So if I go back into sound effects, and it's not in weather.
There's to the left there's water, I believe.
Yes. Beach.
Marshlands?
Lava swamp, maybe not.
Probably beach or ocean.
That sounds nice, and put that here. We could also add some 3D panning in the sound envelope. So I might, let me see if this is a sound effect type.
So there's all these options you can go into and really go in depth if you want to. You don't have to, like how Abby just placed it down is you can just leave it like that, or you can go in and fiddle with as many
like
things as you want, sound
like
channels and reverb positions and everything.
3D panning,
like that,
so we could like sort of change where you can hear that from and how it balances and everything. Like it's probably fine where it is. Oh, do we want normal and?
You know, where it is
okay.
Yeah, I think it's good.
So we've got our water sound.
If we press play, you should be able to hear we've got the marsh, we've got
the leafy trees.
That adds a lot.
Yeah, ambience is really important. People forget, you know.
Yeah.
It adds a lot to your scene very quickly.
It always helps me create, actually. One of the first things I do is put in like a soundscape. And then it's just, it's really inspiring as you're sort of creating to listen to it.
And we have a pretty big library that it ships with, so all these different areas.
And that's just going to keep growing and getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, exactly. These are all the sort of areas that we just keep adding things in, but it's a pretty good mix to start.
Nice when people are out there generating sound libraries just like asset.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we make it really easy to make an instrument in Dream, so I'll show you now on the sort of music side.
This is the exciting bit.
I'm actually going to open a separate timeline, but I could just build on the timeline that John has made, but just for this. Let's see. So we have, if you're not particularly musical, which I'm not actually particularly musical, we have this whole collection. We have a whole bunch of actual just tracks that you can pull from and add into your level, and you can also use community music. And to show you the sort of complexity of one of these. Sure.
Yeah, that sounds
so, good. This isn't a microchip, and it's been like mastered, and somebody's put a lot of time into it.
Oh, wow.
So this is like,
oh, yeah.
This is a professional
Fun fact about this one, it was built on a train while we were travelling.
It's true, it was. Oh, this is the Comic Sans
This is the
one.
Comic Sans.
Yeah.
So we were on Train Jam. I don't know if you've heard of it. And we brought our dev kits and TVs onto a train and travelled from Chicago to San Francisco. And this was the song that Ed, one of our audio designers, made while we were on a train.
Wow.
And so you can see, like, this is the, more complex side. We're not going to use that music. We're going to make our own.
It's terrible. Get rid of it.
Oh, just awful. Just can't believe. It's really, really good. So what I can do is I can go into music clips, and we have a whole bunch of pre-made music clips, and everything in here is quantized, same time signature, so it's all meant to work together.
Yeah.
So kind of, everything that you choose should, really work together and fit. So if we start with drums.
You guys have got to drive this now. What drums do you want? I tend to choose it just based on the name entirely.
Four on the floor kind of jumped out at me.
Oh, no,
I don't know if that fits this kind of
no,
it doesn't have to. It's fine.
Going on here, but
Oh yeah.
Yeah, now I feel like it does.
Yeah, it does. It does. It
And
totally
then
does.
let's choose a bass line.
Anyone
Go to the
jump?
left, the top left, middle. No, the.
Oh.
Yeah.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
And so we were saying earlier, everything sort of parlays into things. I could just stretch this out over the track, or I could use that same cloning thing that John was doing. Oops, I just replaced that by accident. Shaky hands. Just step back. Everything in Dreams can just, with a quick hit of the back button, be undone.
Yeah.
Fast forward or not. So it's really easy to just go back and forth in the stuff that you've created if you make a mistake or if you want to redo something.
okay.
I'm feeling this.
It's actually
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Who knew?
So we could add something else.
I bet there's a fair amount of that in the creative process of making these levels where you have kind of a vision and you start doing it, and as you add more stuff to it, you find stuff that you didn't quite think was going to be in there, and it just kind of completely takes things off course.
That is exactly what happens all the time, and it's the best,
Yeah.
and I love it.
No, we're gonna go straight into instruments. We're gonna add something.
Oh,
So
exciting.
we have this really big instrument library. Some of these are really funny because some of them, like vocals, like Choir of Tom is our audio, like our audio lead, and Meow is one of our sound designers. And so anyway, there's some really funny vocal ones. You can play the upstairs piano, which is actually in our office. And I always go for synth because it's forgiving, and I'm not musical.
Swarm of bees.
Soft outlaw.
Spooky presents.
FM Goblin. The audio team are really great at coming up with names,
I think that FM Goblins might
FM
Okay, let's do
Goblin.
FM Goblins.
work.
Let's do it.
Great.
They'd put it like a couple measures in, maybe.
So
yeah,
yes,
no,
I will.
totally,
Yeah,
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Have it come in.
So this is an instrument in Dreams. And all I'm doing to play that is just pressing the face keys on the DS4 controller. And if I tilt to the right, I get a higher octave. And if I tilt to the left, I get a lower octave. So, and I'm just banging on, I don't know what I'm doing when I play music that much. So the other things that I could do is I could make it into chords. So if I wanted to, we could.
That's good. I like that.
I like that too. Yeah, let's keep the chords on. And we also have a thing called the arpeggiator, which sort of gives you a little bit of melody going when you.
So the arpeggiator will just
Yeah.
play in a sequence over and over and over again.
So it's a good way, if you just kind of want the game to do it for you. It's a nice trick. I'm not going to use it. I'm just gonna freestyle this one. And there's tons of other audio options to play with, but this is sort of the simplest version. So when we start our track, I will.
Smooth.
What's the spice button do?
So the spice button is basically, there's a whole bunch of parameters that you can tweak on in fact, any parameter that you could tweak on the instrument outside, you can apply to spiciness. And so when you press the spiciness button, it's a bit like the sort of pedal on a
Yeah.
a guitar, it just tweaks it over towards that, so you can be like, wow, wow, like.
Yeah, you can also bend notes with a touchpad, which is really cool.
Wow.
And these are effects fields, and you can make your own, but some of the instruments come with ones that we think sound really good on it. But we actually have a whole library of effects fields as well, so that you can add and make your own. So you can always add these to your instruments.
Reverb or echo or distortion, anything you want.
Wrong one, I chose there, effects fields. So we have all these different like filters, delay, pitch, wobble, so you can start to make your own really unique sounding instruments. So when I play these back, you can actually see what everything looks like on a piano roll. And if I wanted to like move any of these individual notes, like I could do that.
What are you doing out here?
To make things, I can totally mess this up. So you can edit like really, in a more granular way, and also we have sample mapping. So like, however deep you really want to get into audio, you can.
This is how we should edit the podcast from now on.
So yeah.
So once we have this, like I'll just throw it on the timeline here, and like we could offset that. To your point, Brad, we could just move that like over and start it, here in the track, and we could actually expand this track out further, make it longer. We also have a whole bunch of options where we could make it loop, so it's just going to play continuously in our level, and you can really start to like make a pretty complex thing. We also have the ability to add your own voice, and that you can make instruments out of your own voice.
Let's do it.
Or your cat's voice, or whatever you feel like.
Like distort it and stuff. That seems.
So Johnny, make a noise for me. Okay, 3, 2, 1, boop. Thanks, John.
I'm really good at making.
Oh no, something's wrong with the camera setup where it's not.
No.
Sorry, that's
Not to worry, that's why we couldn't record earlier, obviously. I think it's probably
something
on the PlayStation system, we haven't ticked a box on or something.
Oh yeah, wow, that's fine. So you can, so when I'm in the instrument, like so if I open FM Goblins, things can act as a sound effect. So if John just put his voice in there, right, it would act as a sound type, and then I can change it to an instrument, and with just that click, it maps all the whatever he sang or whatever noise he made into the notes on the scale. So then you can just play his voice like like an instrument. In fact, the one that we have that can demonstrate how that works, we already briefly saw.
Oh yeah, meow meow meow.
Yeah, meow meow meow. So in vocals, this is actually our sound designer saying meow.
You just said meow, just like I said boo.
Oh, we've got it in chorus.
Chord. That is somewhat terrifying.
Yes, just somewhat. But that was just him saying meow into the microphone, and then hitting the instrument button, and all of a sudden there you go. So that stuff is really fun, and you can use it to make your own sound effects. You can use sound effects also as instruments. So like you can play a thunderstorm, or I know that's a really strange phrase to say, but you can do all sorts of things with it.
And this all goes back to what we said about performance. You can perform a thunderstorm, you can perform sound effects,
right.
And it's a bit like when you do Foley, and you see people who are watching a film and then kind of getting sheets and going like, it's very much that kind of process.
I was actually going to ask if anybody, I don't know if you guys built this in or if anybody in the community has figured out a way to rig up like mapping the motion inputs of the move to like modulating an instrument, like some kind of theremin type thing.
Oh yeah, someone's already made a theremin.
Really?
Yeah,
Speaking
absolutely.
of like performance, you could like literally.
Like the cool thing is all of the, in fact.
I was gonna say, save your changes and let's show some more of the.
If we go into, we can see our final result.
I think that was accidental timing, but that was pretty good.
That was
really
pretty
worked.
perfect. Let's publish it.
Yes.
So I'm just gonna release the latest version. So there we go. Give that to everybody. Yep. Everyone can go and check out Capkidna later.
Enjoy, world.
My first
Available
release.
now.
We did this for you.
Don't kill us. So what should we try and make an instrument that I can perform, which is actually linked to the Logic, maybe?
Sure, or we could just go into one that's previously.
Do we know where there is one?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Maybe just search for theremin.
Let's search
for theremin. See if in 2 weeks someone's made a theremin.
Is it like and then an I?
E, I think it's E.
Yep, somebody's gonna have to learn how to spell first. No.
Try instrument.
Yeah, let's try instrument.
But it sounds like it's possible. Even
Oh yeah,
if
someone's made a
Violin, a guitar, got a drum kit here.
Let's see, because it might be, doesn't look like it's interactive, does it? I have a feeling it's not, because
No, I think
they
that
often
one's
like,
just an asset. But the cool thing is somebody could go in and make that into something playable. So like even if you just wanted to make the instrument and the actual like logic or animation isn't your strong point, you can have somebody else like layer in that angle of it, which is pretty cool.
I'm gonna very quickly. I've never done this before, so this is like
truly live.
Truly live. So
this is how most of our demos go. We're like, never did, but let's try it now.
Let's try it. Let's see if it works. So I've got a block that I'm going to be able to control using the imp, so it becomes possessable. And I'm going to force possession. So if we go into play mode, you see the imp goes into that block. So it's like I'm in charge of that block. But then we can tweak a few extra options on it, such as how it reacts. So I'm going to say that the eyes of the imp are visible. And I'm going to say, what is it? Follow imp. So now when we go into the box, so the box will move around and you can see my little imp eyes.
Oh yeah.
It's going to make sense shortly, I swear.
It's just like game development, right?
Just like game development,
Everything comes together in the last 3 months.
Kind of is, you see the early version and you're like, what? And then, somehow games come out of that, so.
And I've put a microchip on it now, and this is where I can put a whole bunch of logic, a bit like the timeline equivalent. And the logic I'm going to put on is get a movement sensor, and I'm going to find an instrument in sound mode.
Yeah, what kind of instrument do you want?
I don't know.
Probably a kazoo. Probably like, what's the most annoying instrument? It's a kazoo.
That's a good call.
Let's do that then. So search instrument, and I have no idea where kazoo will be.
Yeah, how do you classify a kazoo?
Probably a flute.
Wind and
Strings would probably work too.
I know there is a kazoo.
No, we're committed to kazoo now. You could just search kazoo in the Dreamiverse and the instrument would come up, and I know it's in here. There it is.
Yes!
They thought of everything.
With kazoos.
And I can just wire the velocity here, the overall velocity, say, into the volume. And we'll get it to go on loop, and we'll make it a sound effect, so hopefully the kazoo will just be going like the whole time.
Oh, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Okay. This is a little too much like a bee buzzing around my head.
And perhaps we could change the pitch as well.
Yeah.
So I could wire it into the pitch. So we could say that, and this is where it gets cool. The animation that we showed you earlier, one of the other types of animation is a keyframe.
Yeah.
So I stick that on, it just does one thing. So in this case, I'm going to shift the pitch up, and it records me doing that, right? So now I'm going to open up the tweak of the movement sensor and just say, in the x-axis, wire that into the pitch. Let's see if that works. So yeah,
Never stop to ask why we should.
But I mean, it's just like proving the sort of concept that someone could take that and really refine it, and you can see that making a theremin would be a thing that's possible. And I've definitely seen it already. I just don't know where to find it.
There's so much. It's like hard to just keep track of like everything that we've seen because there's new stuff every day, and so much of it is so cool. Actually, we can show a couple more. Like creations.
Yeah.
Like what do you want to see? Like what's your
kind of round out by hopping into the latest creations, or
is
that safe?
Yeah. Well,
you never know.
At a glance.
Let's have a look. So I go here and go most recent, and this is all the latest things that have been published. So
Wow,
we've got
Future City
Escape. Okay. Let's check it out. I have no idea what's going to happen.
This doesn't have any licensed Sonic music.
Cool.
Okay. So if you had like just one piece of advice for somebody who wanted to hop in and started making stuff, where would you steer them, other than obviously like the tutorials?
I think it's like don't overwhelm yourself by trying to do everything at once. You can make a really small thing and start honing your skills, and but if you go in there with like the first thing I'm gonna make is a full game, like you may
recreate all of Mario.
You're just you may just frustrate yourself, because. That's just not the way that we learn, and it's totally fine to just make something simple and small and build from there. Like you don't have to just do everything all at once. It's you can, but you don't overwhelm yourself.
Start small and progress outwards, and just keep things simple initially. You don't have to try and add every mechanic that you've ever heard of. Just
add ambience.
Add ambience.
We'll get the gold one.
Oh, okay. Oh, here we go. Ooh.
Oh man,
Oh, this is cool.
this is great.
Press the square button to grab. Okay, I'm going to go for that golden one there.
This is what I love about dreams too. It's like you wouldn't necessarily go like today, be sitting here in the morning going like, you know what I want to do? I want to play a claw game.
Yeah.
And like what I love about dreams too is it's like where would you go to do that even if you did want to play a virtual claw game? Like I don't know. And we have a lot of stuff like
a minute
that.
later be playing, you know, an RPG, and then a minute later
Yeah,
be playing.
you can show the most recent one that we were looking at, the Star. I'm going to blank on the name now. Just like
I
a
remember
Mandelbrot's
it, yeah.
profile, yeah.
And look, since we played that first one, 3 other things have just been published. So
Whoa, what is that? Bouncing balls.
Bouncing balls looks.
Oh, jeez.
Oh geez. Oh geez. So, Dreams has physics.
Sure.
I think they're using my favorite trick of
And another thing
that's
that's just got published just then. Like it's amazing. Just like
a lollipop.
just sitting here and watching things roll in is just like
Yeah, it's cool to see what's bubbled up after 2 weeks, but
Yeah,
I want to see what pops up after like 6 months.
Oh,
I want somebody to put
the
6 months
Starburst
of work.
Peak. This is really well, actually. I mean. We say that, but then people have already made really complex creations in just a short period of time. This has been made entirely during the early access period, and there's like a full like inventory and dialogue and
narrative system.
Narrative system. It's really cool. You just have to next through.
None of your business.
And this creator made some really cool stuff in the beta, but this is like a totally early access project.
Yeah, people have made text adventures already. You know, I mean, it's just.
One of my favorite ones that I always love to show is
we
like.
can do this.
Yeah, we. Oh, well, you go up to this whole thing and it's really beautiful. There's a whole dialogue
Go and
system.
check it out.
It's really lovely. And
Mandelbrot
Mandelbrot has such a nice sense of humor, and I just really like their projects. So.
Me too.
A Dream of Cats also was striking to. I don't even know what that is. It was just like I'm in. House of Beavis is one of my favorite ones, and.
You should play this one, Abby.
Okay.
I know.
So, yeah, I don't even. This gets to the point of like, there's a lot of things in Dreams that aren't necessarily games, but are certainly interactive entertainment and really unique and incredible in their own right. And I don't know where I would go if this is what I wanted to experience other than Dreams.
Oh, they've updated it since yesterday.
Wow, this is updated since yesterday.
So we haven't seen this version. Like this person is constantly updating this. So this is now new for us. So we're experiencing it live with you guys for the first time. We kind of know what's going to happen probably, but they've added a whole load of extra stuff. Look at that.
Oh, yeah. The subtitles was in like the last update, which I thought was really cool.
And it's really great having we've already started to see sort of superstar creators emerge who are really known for certain things, like J+B for music and Disarmed for the sort of hyper fidelity. You know, it's really great to see.
Not to get ahead of ourselves, but I almost started to say this seems like there could almost be like a Last Starfighter situation of like. I'm not going to say you're going to go out and hire Dreams community members necessarily.
But John was a LVP community member who works at Media Molecule, so we have and will.
There
I'm
totally
sure.
is a pipeline for people to get into development with this.
And I hope John came from the LVP community and has been working on at Media Molecule for like
10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
And he's not the only person at Media Molecule that came from that community.
Okay.
And I think what we'd love to see too with Dreams is people who, not just Media Molecule, but get jobs at other game development studios, because we think the skills really translate.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the thing with me getting a job and the other people at MM is we got a job working at Media Molecule because we made Little Big Planet level, so it's directly relatable.
Right.
But it would have been harder for you to get a job elsewhere, not impossible, but here, because you can make everything, you'd be able to get jobs in like film or television or other game studios, and that's why giving Dreams, making this is so passionate to me, because I just can't wait for everyone to get into the industry.
On your face right now.
I'm trying to listen to what John's saying, but there's some insanity going on the screen.
I mean, yeah, like tons of games have limited level creators, but like this is one of the few that seems like it has one foot in like legitimate development tools, That's cool.
Yeah,
So this creator makes these incredible sculptures and has made an entire sort of interactive narrative experience and museum for their creations.
That's really cool.
And it's fabulous. And like I won't go too far. Like you can see some more of them over here. And then there are these monoliths that are, I guessed when they first published this that they were placeholders for more sculptures, which is a pretty obvious guess. And they have been. This keeps getting updated and more keep being added, and it's just.
I feel like a deer in the headlights of love.
And it's
Are these this person's custom voiceovers?
some of them are these clips off this like sort of not obscure YouTube video, but has sort of its own like, oh god, they're just amazing. And you can explore the whole museum. There's way more. There's a whole narrative thing and this whole thing that happens at the end. And like I'd love people to just go in and experience it for themselves because it's a really this one. Is just I've just really think is incredible.
That's wild. This stuff seems like it's just going to get more involved over time.
Yeah.
As people have more time to refine stuff.
Yeah, and there's just a lot of stuff like that one where it's like I just don't know where you would go find that to play through something and be in that space unless you were playing Dreams.
Right.
And I'm there for that. Like I'm there for all like the weird, cool, really creative. Outlets
Insanity,
people find through
yeah.
it. Insanity, yeah. Some of my favorite creators just make the like strangest, coolest stuff.
Yeah, that stuff's exciting. So do you guys have any kind of time frame for like how long early access is going to last and what release looks like?
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to spend a super long time in early access. We'd like to get this just out in people's hands, but what we need to make sure in this time period is like all of those different things that benefit the larger community who aren't just our core creators is all there. So some of that includes updates to the Dreamiverse and the social features and systems in the game. Some of that is more tutorials and more content that help people who are new to creation get started and like give them a good jumping off point. And some of it is just for us, just having live community in the game is one of the ways that we just test a lot of the features of Dreams that we just can't do in our sort of contained dev environment. So we haven't made a determination on when the final game is coming out, but like we don't have the desire to have it go on like indefinitely forever. Like we would really like to get through this period and get it out to everyone. And I think we're at a good start for that too. It's been really cool seeing people take to the tools and make stuff. And
I'm sure it's super gratifying.
Yeah, and we have a list of features like million miles long of what we want to add in.
Yeah, like longer term, do you have plans for like adding to the tools, updating tools, or is that beyond the scope of the initial release?
No, I mean what we wanted to make sure with early access is like we are shipping a very complete set of tools. Like there's this lets you do like
I don't know what else you could put in.
Really, but I mean there are community members who want like very specific updates to like very specific tools and stuff like that, and we are listening to that kind of feedback. You know, right now we are a little bit more focused on stuff that benefits like a larger swath of community.
I saw like one of the things that's on the list is online multiplayer.
Online multiplayer is a great example of that. Like that's definitely something that we're already working on and plan down the road.
And some people want free control, so we're working on that because that really helps with accessibility. So we're really trying to listen to the community.
And that's a big feature, so that's like further further down. That won't be one of the first updates in early access. Okay. VR support is something that like down the line would be added in, but like that's also a big undertaking.
Yeah.
And then there's smaller things like I said, like adding new tutorials and content and sort of all the cool like arcade content and the story, the sort of bigger story mode that we're working on and. And all the kind of like playable content that we want players to come in. And the nice thing about the MM content for that is like we want some of that to be like remixable and play, and then we release those assets to community so they can start to build and learn. And we have so many things.
Yeah, so many things. So it's just getting bigger every day.
Yeah, but
great.
Like this is already a pretty this is a big chunk of what Dreams is for us.
Absolutely, yeah.
And
so you guys are dreaming big, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean Dreams has been in the works for I think 8 years.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's been a huge challenge for the studio, and to have it out there is like it's been like a weird emotional ride of the last few weeks of like seeing people who've been on it for a really long time, and like it's like quite emotional watching people create things in it.
Yeah, really.
I bet. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm fresh out of dream cliches. So thank you guys so much for stopping by. And,
Thank you.
Yeah, good luck as early access continues.
Thanks, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.